So, you think you guys got a lot in common?
In some aspects, yeah, we do.
How are you guys different?
Both.
To account for the weight difference, Terence Crawford isn't taking any chances against Canelo Alvarez. Rather than training on his own, he's decided to tap into the expertise of the first man to defeat Canelo in the ring. Crawford has opted to start his training camp early to gain weight and get accustomed to it ahead of his September fight. He does plan to take a short break mid-year. While Crawford had already invited Floyd Mayweather to his camp well before this, the two of them had a productive and enjoyable time together. As expected, Mayweather focused primarily on refining Crawford's defensive skills. They worked on a variety of techniques, including dancing, shoulder rolls, and body feints. When Mayweather faced Canelo Alvarez, the latter was just 23 years old, while Mayweather was in his mid-30s. Despite the age difference, Mayweather's defense was so tight that Canelo struggled to land any significant punches throughout the 12-round fight. Over the years, it's been an honor for Mayweather to train numerous top fighters, such as Ryan Garcia, and his insights helped both Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis. Now, his latest pupil is Terence Crawford, and Crawford had some words to share about his time spent training with Mayweather. You might wonder why Terence Crawford, a professional boxer with 40 fights under his belt, would seek Mayweather's guidance so close to his retirement. His reasoning is simple: Crawford's upcoming fight will see him stepping up to 168 pounds, a new weight class for him.
Gave the sport of boxing their whole life and sacrificed a lot inside that square circle. They should feel that way. So if he feels that way, more power to him. I had one fight, and the fight wasn't actually.
As a result, Crawford turned to Floyd Mayweather, a 5-division world champion, for advice. In a recent interview, Mayweather reflected on his legendary fight against Canelo Alvarez in that same weight class, offering Crawford valuable lessons and insights that could prove crucial in their training.
But it wasn't my idea. So at one particular time, you guys can, anybody, you can go online and pull this up. It was an article. So with Canelo said, I believe Canelo at one particular time thought I was scared of him.
I had one fight at a catchweight, but that wasn't my plan. Anyone can pull this up online. It was a whole story. At one point, Canelo thought I was scared of him, that I was afraid to fight him. He even said, "Floyd doesn't want to fight me. I'm willing to meet him at 152 or 153 pounds. So, I called his bluff and said, if you want to do it, let's do it at 152 or 153. After Canelo made weight, it wasn't like there was some rule saying he couldn't gain weight. He weighed in at 152 or 153, but I came in at 151 or 152.
Hit and not get hit, and to make the adjustments that he's made to certain fighters,
Perhaps Terence Crawford felt this was the right approach for him, considering he has so much to learn about the new weight class he's moving to in less than a month. Despite fans often drawing comparisons between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Crawford, Crawford never fails to respect Mayweather's legacy. When asked about the similarities between them, Crawford shared his thoughts. "I admire Floyd's greatness," he said.
I think, I take more chances,
Excuse me, Crawford.
right now. But earlier in his career, he was taking a lot of chances as well. So,
Crawford continued, "We have quite a lot in common in some areas, but we're also a bit different. I take more chances earlier in my career. Floyd also took risks, but it just depends on which version of Floyd you're talking about. Are you referring to the Money Mayweather, or are you talking about a Pretty Boy? Pretty Boy was the more aggressive fighter, seeking to dominate. Then, after his hand injuries, his style evolved. He couldn't maintain that same aggressive power, so he shifted to a more defensive style, especially as he moved up to fight bigger opponents."
The left hooks again.
The lightning hand speed extraordinary. Oh. Left hook drops him, and then he hit his head off it on this here at the engine.
As Crawford mentioned, they share similarities, but boxing fans often debate who would win in a fight between the two. A recent analysis suggested that Crawford would be the likely victor in a bout between them. When it comes to pure boxing skill, though, it's hard to find another boxer who delivered more sweet science masterclasses than Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather's crisp jab, precise timing, and counterpunching ability allowed him to dismantle a long list of opponents, doing so over two distinct phases of his career. As Crawford said, Pretty Boy was the more aggressive version of Mayweather, while the Money Mayweather, years later, would outsmart and edge out opponents with his brilliant defensive boxing. No matter which style you prefer, both iterations of Mayweather made their mark. Meanwhile, Crawford's performance against Errol Spence in his last fight still has fans talking. The way he repeatedly snapped Spence's guard with his jab, the timing of his counterpunches, and his overall boxing ability were on full display. And it wasn't just any opponent, Spence is elite. When it comes to pure boxing ability, many believe Mayweather is unmatched. But Crawford's style is different, more explosive, but still effective. So, how would their boxing styles compare if Crawford were to face Mayweather in his prime? Would Crawford land the first jab, or would Mayweather's disciplined defense and counterpunching win out? There are countless ways to see this fight play out, making it a matchup that truly could go either way.
That's unbelievable. Young boxing fans that are watching Floyd Mayweather, you're seeing one of the greatest defensive fighter of all time. I mean, that's how strong. You're wearing, then he's nowhere. You think you... And again, it's not just hand quick.
How many times have we watched Floyd Mayweather lure his opponents into the middle of the ring, where he could analyze and compute information before implementing a blueprint to pick them apart? Mayweather's ring IQ and his mantra of hit and not get hit carried him to the Hall of Fame, making him an undefeated 5-division world champion. Terence Crawford, having been crowned undisputed at junior welterweight and now at welterweight, has displayed a similarly high ring IQ throughout his career. While Mayweather's hand speed, especially in counterpunching, was legendary, Crawford's ability to slash angles and whip his shots while owning superior speed over Mayweather stands out. Over Mayweather's 50 wins, 27 came by knockout, while Crawford boasts 40 wins with 31 knockouts, and he's still in his prime.
The way he rolls with punches. Look at the way he makes them miss. I mean, here we go. Do a series of punches and nothing really landed. Rip it fight for Mayweather. Oh, hey!
Now, consider Crawford's masterclass against Errol Spence. He dropped Spence 3 times on his way to a dominant 9th-round TKO. Defeating a powerful body puncher like Spence, who had systematically broken down fighters like Kell Brook, Sean Porter, and Yordenis Ugas to become the unified world welterweight champion, was no easy task. Yet Crawford made it look easy, with his power playing a significant role. Mayweather, on the other hand, was a defensive wizard. He used his shoulder to absorb shots in the Philly shell and countered with his free hand, all while picking his punches with precision. It was defensive boxing and counterpunching at its finest. Crawford is no slouch when it comes to defense, but Mayweather took defensive boxing to nearly perfect levels. But how would a fight between a prime Mayweather and Crawford actually play out? After a tense first round, where each boxer feels out the other, we'd likely see Crawford emerge as the more active and busier fighter early on, launching shots even if many are absorbed by Mayweather's shoulder and elbow. As the fight progresses into the middle rounds, Mayweather's style would start to take over. He'd begin peppering Crawford with jabs and winning some rounds, using his defensive mastery to nullify Crawford's aggression. With a steady flow of pressure, Crawford's firepower could indeed find its way to Mayweather, potentially even hurting the legendary fighter at times. While this would be a close contest, Crawford's fighting style, highlighted by his aggressive pressure and volume punches, might just be enough to earn him points in the eyes of the judges, giving him a potential edge over Mayweather's more methodical approach. Moving up in weight, however, is no easy task, and Crawford is determined not to repeat the mistakes of Canelo Alvarez when he faced Dmitry Bivol. Alvarez's lofty ambitions caught up with him after he encountered Bivol, the unbeaten World Boxing Association light heavyweight champion. Canelo, a 4-division champion, landed just 84 punches over 12 rounds, a career low, as Bivol relied on his defensive skills and accurate punching to pull off a unanimous decision. The judges scored it 115 to 113 in favor of Bivol. In a fight that was never truly competitive, CBS Sports scored it 109 to 119 in favor of Bivol. 6 months after becoming the first undefeated super middleweight champion of the 4 major belts, Alvarez moved back up to 175 pounds for the first time since knocking out Sergey Kovalev in 2019. He was unable to break through Bivol's technical strength. Bivol, a former Russian amateur star, muted Alvarez's offense, responding with clean combinations every time Canelo landed a punch. Alvarez's punches mostly landed on Bivol's left shoulder and arm, as Bivol kept his high guard strong. Despite Alvarez's previous lone loss coming against Floyd Mayweather in 2013, he struggled against Bivol, connecting with just 17% of his punches and getting outlanded by a margin of 150 to 284. Alvarez admitted after the fight that he thought he was ahead on the scorecards but acknowledged Bivol's skill, saying, "He's a great fighter, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I lost today, and he won." To avoid making similar mistakes, Crawford has sought advice from Floyd Mayweather, whose results as both a trainer and fighter speak for themselves. The most recent fighter to spend time with him shocked the world with a major win earlier this year.
Fight Canelo, 3 divisions up. Good idea, bad idea?
I don't remember sizes of Terence Crawford.
Welterweight.
If he big, actually.
Maybe he's probably...
During a lengthy interview with Patrick Bet-David on his podcast, junior welterweight contender Ryan Garcia opened up about his much-publicized friendship with Floyd Mayweather, making it clear that he respects the Hall of Fame fighter deeply, more than most people, even those within his inner circle. When Bet-David asked Garcia which high-profile figure in his life had the license to offer harsh, unfiltered criticism, Garcia immediately named Mayweather. Bet-David also asked Garcia for his thoughts on a highly discussed potential fight between the extremely talented Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, both of whom are regarded as 2 of the best fighters in the sport today.
Someone told me to study Canelo, study Crawford. Crawford about to beat the shit out of Canelo Alvarez. I'm letting y'all know right now, he about to beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez.
I remember when I first came into boxing, one of the first things I learned was to respect weight classes, said Dmitry Bivol. But Terence Crawford is one of my favorite active fighters. He has incredible skills, very impressive skills. Maybe he can show us something new, but he already knows what to do. His coach knows what to do, they'll find a way to get it done. Bivol was directly asked whether he thought Crawford could defeat Canelo Alvarez, to which he replied, "I can imagine it." This shows how much Bivol respects Crawford's abilities, despite having to challenge naturally larger opponents. Bivol went on to say that Crawford's ring IQ could give him an advantage over Canelo. "I can tell you that Crawford is one of the best boxers in the world right now. I see him with more fighting IQ."
Listen, I think Berlanga's a talented kid who's getting better. He's improved recently. I think he still needs more seasoning, but I see an improvement in him. He is a talented kid.
After claiming the undisputed super middleweight title in 2021, Canelo Alvarez fell short in his challenge against the then World Boxing Association light heavyweight champion, Dmitry Bivol. However, the 34-year-old has since bounced back with 5 consecutive wins, defeating top names like Gennady Golovkin, Jermall Charlo, and Edgar Berlanga along the way. Legendary boxing trainer turned analyst Teddy Atlas shared his thoughts on a potential mega fight between Canelo and Terence Crawford, speaking to Fight Hub TV. Atlas admitted that it would be difficult for him to bet against the American southpaw. Very few people have the appetite or inclination to challenge themselves, Atlas said. Crawford does. I'm never going against that guy. Father Time might catch him, but I don't know if a weight class can catch him. Atlas acknowledged that Canelo is a tremendous fighter, bigger, stronger, and capable of punching and timing with precision, but emphasized that Crawford's ability to adjust and outsmart his opponents could be key. Just because you're smaller doesn't mean you can't find a way. Crawford will come up with a game plan that will make the other guy use his size, Atlas explained. Speaking further to Fight Hub TV, Atlas gave Crawford high praise, referring to him as the undefeated champion who has been linked to a potential fight with Canelo in May or September. Crawford has all the tools to win a third undisputed crown. Any serious boxing fan knows Crawford can beat Canelo, Atlas said. You have to know fighting to be able to say that. The potential fight between Canelo and Crawford is rumored to take place around the weekend closest to Cinco de Mayo, either May 3rd or May 10th. However, Canelo may be waiting to see the outcome of the February 22nd light heavyweight clash between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. Beterbiev defeated Bivol in their first fight last year. That's all for now. For the best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay linked with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications to be alerted when we drop quality content like this. Until next time, peace out.